But one country that is facing its own economic catastrophe and dependency ratio intensifying is Russia. The economy looks absolutely bleak. Putin is bunking down in his bunker, hiding away from Ukrainian drones. What's your assessment of the Russian military campaign right now versus the Ukrainians?
Well, I published a piece about this not long ago. In short, not good. And, I say that with a big, broad smile on my face. Every failure, every Russian failure is to be celebrated. At the end of the day, I think last year we saw the Russians, learning and adapting pretty well. And if I've talked to frontline brigade commanders, many of them were thinking that the Russians might have been just ahead of the Ukrainians in drone operations and tactics and stuff. That seems to have flipped in the last few months. I think there's a whole range of reasons for that. I think a new defence minister who's young and energetic, tech savvy, the Ukrainians with the Magyar in charge of USF, I think his reforms are starting to really bite, improving the consistency and efficiency of drone operations. They've really invested in defensive operations and in a whole range of things. So you see a strategic objective from Zelensky, Fedorov and others saying we need to kill far more Russians. It's like, yes, you do. And they're achieving that. They're killing, on average, 5,000 or 10,000 more per month than they were this time last year. They're killing more than the Russians can really replace without a full-scale national mobilisation. And we're seeing it, have real impacts, like the Russians are going backwards in territory that they're taking or holding. We haven't seen that so far in this war, not for a long time. So Ukrainian military efficiency has improved this year. It's having a measurable impact on the Russian spring offensive, which just has not gathered momentum. It's got some tempo, but nothing like what it's done in previous years. I think Putin is seeing his narrative around inevitable victory being blown away by the performance of the Russian military over the last few months. I mean, even a serious MAGA supporter couldn't buy into Putin's inevitable victory narrative now. There's just no evidence of it. And to make it worse, the Ukrainian long-range strike campaign has got better, it's got bigger and got more effective. And you're now seeing Putin begging for a ceasefire because he doesn't think he can safely hold his May Day parade in Moscow without the Ukrainians not attacking him. So, in short, I think Putin's life at the moment is not great, and he probably has a whole lot of pressures bearing on him, and I think that's terrific. The only thing that would make things better is if the Ukrainians could do a multi-drone aerial display over Red Square on Victory Day with blue and yellow smoke coming out the back. I think that would be just wonderful. They don't need to be attack drones. They just need to do a ceremonial flyover.
Sounds like a very 2026 version of the Red Arrows. Mick.